At 6:40 in the morning, Mark was already at the airport. His flight to Ho Chi Minh City was less than 3 hours away. Then he opened his email. His Vietnam eVisa had been refused. The reason looked almost absurdly small. One digit in his passport number was wrong. Mark had already paid for his flight. His hotel was booked. His airport transfer was waiting in Vietnam. And because he couldn't simply board without the correct entry permission, the mistake started costing him money almost immediately. By the time the trip was reorganized, Mark had lost $835 over one mistake he thought he had checked twice. Mark was 34. He was an American citizen living and working in Manchester, where he worked in logistics. His life wasn't particularly glamorous. Most weekdays were early starts, long shifts, emails, deliveries, and trying to finish work without bringing the entire day home with him. Vietnam was supposed to be different. He had been planning a short break in Ho Chi Minh City. Nothing complicated. A few days exploring the city, trying Vietnamese food, meeting a friend who had recently moved there, and getting a proper break from work. He wasn't planning to move to Vietnam. He wasn't trying to find some complicated visa arrangement. He simply needed a Vietnam eVisa for his trip. And because the official application process is online, Mark assumed the hardest part would be filling out the form. He had his passport beside him. He entered his personal information, uploaded the required images, selected a single-entry eVisa, chose his intended travel dates, and paid the application fee. Then he did something many travelers do. He looked over the form quickly and thought, "Everything looks right." He submitted it and went back to work. That decision would follow him all the way to the airport. Here's where Mark's mistake becomes important. He didn't enter the wrong hotel. He didn't intentionally provide false information. He didn't ignore a major immigration rule. He made a small data entry mistake. One digit of his passport number was entered incorrectly. And that is exactly why this kind of mistake can be so easy to underestimate. When you're filling out a visa application, your brain naturally focuses on the big questions. What date am I arriving? Which airport am I using? How long am I staying? Single entry or multiple entry? But the system also needs exact identity information. The current Vietnam eVisa application requires applicants to provide passport information, including the passport number, issuing information, issue date, and expiry date. The official system also tells applicants to fill out the application accurately. And importantly, the Immigration Department states that mistakes, incorrect, or unidentified information can cause an application not to be accepted. So Mark's problem wasn't that the mistake was dramatic. The problem was that the mistake was attached to his identity document. Think of it this way: if your passport says one number, but your visa application contains another, the application is no longer describing exactly the same passport. To Mark, it was one character. To an immigration process, it was a mismatch, and this is where travelers can get confused. They may think, "I paid the fee, so the application is being processed." But paying the fee does not mean the visa has been approved. The official system separates the process into application, payment, and receiving the final eVisa result. Mark had completed the payment. He had not yet secured permission to enter, and there was another detail he didn't fully understand. The standard single-entry eVisa fee is $25. But the official system says the application fee is not refundable if the visa is denied. So even before his flight became a problem, the first part of the loss was already locked in. Now the financial damage started, and it didn't happen all at once. It happened in stages. Loss number 1, the eVisa fee. Mark had paid the official single-entry eVisa fee. That was $25. Because the application was refused, that fee was not refunded. Loss number 2, Flight change. Mark's original flight was booked around his planned arrival date. Once the visa problem appeared, changing the itinerary became expensive. The airline change and fare difference came to $310. He could have waited for a new visa application, but his original travel schedule was already collapsing. Loss number 3. Hotel. His first hotel reservation could not be fully refunded after the cancellation window. That cost him $180. The hotel itself wasn't the problem. The timing was. The reservation had been made on the assumption that he would actually be able to enter Vietnam on the original date. Loss number 4. New flight fare difference. After the visa issue was addressed, Mark had to reorganize the trip. The replacement flight cost an additional $250. Not a luxury upgrade, not business class, simply a more expensive fare because the original travel window was gone. Loss number 5. Airport and travel expense. There were also smaller costs: transport, food while waiting, a change to his airport transfer. Together, those came to $70, and that brought the final number to $835. This is the part that matters. Mark did not lose $835 because the Vietnamese eVisa itself cost $835. The official single-entry government fee was only $25. The $835 was the combined financial impact of one incorrect application detail triggering a chain of travel changes. And that's why small visa mistakes can become expensive. The visa fee may be small. The consequences around it may not be. Mark's situation is not unusual because travelers make mistakes. It is unusual only in how quickly one small mistake can affect everything around the trip. Vietnam's eVisa system is designed to allow eligible foreign travelers outside Vietnam to apply electronically. The current system allows eVisas for up to 90 days, with either single or multiple entry. That convenience is a major advantage, but convenience can also create a false sense of simplicity. A traveler may think, it's online, so I can fix anything later. That's not a safe assumption. The official application asks for a range of personal, passport, travel, and contact information. The current application also includes specific fields for passport details and requested entry information. And the Immigration Department explicitly provides a support channel for problems such as incorrect application information. That is important. If you discover an error, don't simply hope the system will understand what you meant. Check the status. Use the official support channel when appropriate. And, if necessary, prepare a corrected application rather than assuming the original mistake will automatically disappear. There is also another lesson from Mark's case. Don't confuse the application process with approval. You submit, you pay, then you receive the result. The result is what matters. And for anyone traveling to Vietnam in 2026, that distinction is worth remembering because immigration procedures continue to evolve, while old travel videos and forum posts can remain online for years. The safest habit is simple. Check the current official information before you travel. Not a 5-year-old YouTube video. Not a random Facebook comment. Not a screenshot someone posted last year. The official Vietnam eVisa system is currently operated by the Immigration Department under the Ministry of Public Security. So what should Mark have done differently? And more importantly, what can you do today to avoid the same problem? There are 3 simple steps. First, match the passport character by character. Before you submit an eVisa application, don't just skim your information. Compare it directly against your passport. Check the passport number. Check your name. Check your date of birth. Check the passport issue and expiry dates. Check the requested entry dates. And check whether you selected single or multiple entry correctly. Don't rely on memory. Don't rely on autofill. And don't assume that because one field looks familiar, it's correct. For Mark, this single check could have caught the problem. Second, check the final resort, not just the payment. After submitting your application and paying the fee, don't stop there. The official system provides a way to check your application result using the required application information. Make sure you actually receive the approved eVisa before treating the trip as confirmed. And remember, a payment receipt is not the same thing as an approved visa. If the application is refused, don't assume the fee will come back. The official system states that the eVisa fee is non-refundable when the visa is not granted. Third, if something is wrong, use the official support channel. If you discover incorrect information, don't panic. And don't immediately trust a random person online who promises they can fix the application. The official eVisa system has a support page specifically allowing applicants to report issues, including wrong application information. Gather your application details. Identify exactly what is wrong. Then contact the official support channel and follow the instructions provided. If a fresh application is required, make sure the new application is carefully checked before payment. This doesn't guarantee approval, but it puts you in the correct process instead of guessing. And that's the real lesson from Mark's case. You don't need to become an immigration expert. You just need a reliable checking system. Mark's story didn't end at the airport. He went back through the application process, corrected the passport information, and reorganized the trip. The second attempt was handled much more carefully. He checked every passport field. He checked the requested dates. He confirmed the entry type. And most importantly, he waited for the actual result before treating the trip as locked in. Eventually, Mark made it to Ho Chi Minh City. The trip was shorter than originally planned, and the $835 was not coming back. But the experience changed how he approached international travel. He stopped thinking of visa applications as simple online forms. Instead, he started treating them like what they really are: identity documents where small details matter. And there's one part of this story that is worth remembering. Mark wasn't careless in some extraordinary way. He was doing something millions of travelers do. He was tired. He was preparing a trip. He saw a form. He filled it out. He checked it quickly, and he moved on. That's why this isn't really a story about a foolish traveler. It's a story about how a tiny administrative mistake can become a very real travel problem. And the good news is that the most important part of avoiding it costs nothing. Slow down. Compare the information. Check the final result. And use official channels when something doesn't look right. For Mark, one digit created an $835 problem. For the next traveler, that same mistake can be avoided in less than 5 minutes. If you're planning to visit Vietnam, especially for the first time, don't just ask, "What visa do I need?" Ask one more question. What could make my application fail? Because sometimes, the biggest travel mistake isn't the rule you didn't know. It's the tiny detail you thought didn't matter. And if you want to see another real-world Vietnam visa case file, watch our next story. He had a valid Vietnam visa, so why was he still stopped at the airport? It may be the most important 5 minutes you watch before your next flight to Vietnam.